Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen power from Down Under, might from Europe, resilience from NA, and of course, discipline and fortitude from Latin America. Now we have just 2 games remaining. Who in this crowd is hyped? I feel the energy in here. I'm excited more than ever to see how this tournament finally plays out. I'm still joined by Toffees and Frost, and I am, of course, Parla. Guys, 5 teams now with over 100 points, and it's still Athletico, Na'Vi, FaZe, G2, and Liquid. How can these teams, and again, going back to the other point that you raised, Frost, the fact that these guys all have their own loot spots. They're not going to be fighting with each other early. How can these 5 teams, in the general sense, play optimally?
I mean, in general sense, you know exactly where you have the vehicle spawns. You know who's gonna loot where. You're more effective on your looting patterns because you have someone looting like 2 houses, someone looting 3 houses. Everyone knows what they're gonna do. They know exactly when they want to leave and stuff like that. And that means that you're gonna be on point with your game from the start. And being on point from the start means that everything is gonna help you from there on.
I mean, the key to victory right now is to focus on what you do best. It's going to be tempting for these top teams to allow someone else to let them win, right? There's always that temptation of saying, how about instead of me losing, I let them fail? That's not how you win these tournaments. You win by doing what G2 did in that last match. They went out there, sure, they didn't win the game, but they put up a ton of points. They got a lot of kills, they got a good placement, and they climbed the scoreboard effectively. If you sit back, if you play defensive right now, you're basically handing the trophy to the team that shows panache and shows a desire to win. So don't be the loser, be the winner, and take the victory.
I like it, Toffees. We want to see aggression and panache. Now, let's take a look at some of that from backstage and exactly how all the tech works at GLL Grand Slam PUBG Classic.
In your building, in your building, in your building. In your building. Oh my god, he's in. Holy fuck.
So, for this event we have a lot of new tech features, and for the first time the in-game observing crew are the ones that will decide when we utilize them. We've been given player cams for each team, as well as picture-in-picture for any perspective that we want. And our job is basically to utilize it to the full extent, get the player reaction when they get wiped, get the player reactions when they wipe another team.
Forced out into the open, they have to come out blind from the smoke, and G2 is going to rip them apart. McCoy is the man in front.
The player cam system is very unique here. The in-game director has completely free control to do whatever he wants, so it's completely dynamic, and I don't think that's ever been done before with 64 pip cams or 64 player cams, and I think it adds a lot of value to the spectators because you can actually see the emotions and reactions of the players actually playing, and I think that's a very good thing to have.
Well, like I said, Rumblers are in a great position to shut down the east side of the circle, but they've allowed G2 to get this wide split along this. Actually, yeah, with Udyr on the knock onto Dre.
During the Grand Slam and the new features we've had, I feel like we've been given a platform to actually experiment and evolve how the observing works in PUBG. What elements can we throw in? How does it work? When does it work? And when can you actually utilize it to give something or add something to the broadcast?
The backbone of everything is very complex, but the way we set it up for the observers and the main in-game director is so it's very easy to execute, and it's complete freedom for the in-game director to do whatever he wants. It's been so good to have this chance to make this happen, and for future events I think we can do this even better to evolve it actually, and I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Good shit.
Okay. Good shit, boys. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
And most of the feedback has been positive, so I feel like we're actually taking huge steps in developing the observing for Battle Royales further, and it just makes me happy to be a part of all this.
Oh, tries to get the spray down, caught out, he gets taken down, Harold, now it's all on Jency, surely in the 3-1, the headshot comes in, and Bitloft will take it, they get themselves the win.
Talking about backbones, production are always the backbone of whatever is happening at an event. Black Molly and Answer on his observing crew have absolutely smashed it, so a big shout out to them.
I mean, you got to give a lot of love to Ansvar. Everybody sort of has learned that name in terms of top-notch observing, but a lot of what he does comes at the right hand. Wilhelm, the guy, if you ever see a cinematic shot of a grenade beautifully lobbed, it's him. His fly cams are amazing. Moleman X Pro telling them where to go and what to see. They've built an all-star team, and I think it's only 7 or 8 compared to 20 and 25 that we've seen in the past. These guys know the business.
They're working so tight together, and they know each other so well, and they know exactly what they want to show. So they're making it look so easy for anyone to do that job.
A little bit like Navi's making it look easy to win these tournaments. But the reality is, it's all about knowledge, figuring out what your opponents are going to do before they do it. In that last game, they did that from the bottom of the hill. They saw the movements. They predicted the way FaZe and Liquid would end up fighting each other, and then they made the move at the right time in the right place, and that's how you raise the trophy.
Yeah, and one of those opponents you mentioned, FaZe Clan, is the team that we are about to focus in on. Currently 3rd in the table. They've had a good tournament, to be at this point and have been competing at the level they have. It goes without saying they've put a lot out there, but now they need to, I think, follow what you've been saying, Toffees, with regards to taking some affirmative action. That last game, they were pretty passive late into the game. It still kind of worked in their favor to an extent, but can we expect to see them come out now with a bit more action?
I mean, that's what you need to see from FaZe, right? FaZe is best when they are the tip of the sphere, when they are moving as a phalanx and just destroying. We used to make jokes about when they'd get angry at being behind, and it was like a search and destroy line where they were just in a straight line, knocking bushes down and flushing everybody in front of them, and that's what I want to see now.
We had the old FaZe Clan. They won everything. Everyone wanted to be the FaZe Clan in PUBG. Now, they didn't win anything for a while. They made some roster changes, and they won PL. Phase 2, and now they're here and they want to win this as well.
Absolutely. Uba has been a spectacular pickup for these guys. He's absolutely phenomenal, and he seems to really be in his zone right now, and maybe taking a little bit of wrath out on Na'Vi as he knows the guys, he knows how to play against them, and I think he's bringing a little bit of extra pizzazz to FaZe with that fragging potential.
I mean, he went from Na'Vi to FaZe Clan. He was also the only player here that have won a GLL before, the GLL Season 1.
Something about FaZe Clan as a whole is that they've become, I guess, in a sense, famous for fielding international teams in their esports and content creation lineups. And these guys are exactly that. They're international from different places, but the communication with them is still massively on point. Whenever the camera's on them, you can see them talking, discussing, and looking positive. Talking about communication, our casters are ready. Matrim and Moses, take it away.
Thank you so much, Paula. And we are down to just 2 games remaining, and it's time to focus in on the top 5. We are tied atop the leaderboard. It is so close in the top 5, and it is the penultimate game coming up.
I mean, it is so close towards the top of the leaderboard. Right now, separating out 1st and 2nd is just kill counts. That's the way you want a PUBG series to end. It's going to be edge of your seat from here on out. And I got to give, we keep talking about FaZe Clan, Liquid, everybody else, Athletico. These guys, though, these guys are playing with so much heart. They know that their region's pride is at stake right now. If they can walk away and manage to steal a region spot from EU right now, that would be huge for them.
The gorgeous trophy down on the stage, all players' eyes moving towards it as we only have a couple of games left. Now, we talked about Athletico, about how the last 6 games, well, up until the last game, they had played 6 straight games on Miramar. And now their first game on Erangel doesn't go that well, and they're tied. This is, even though they've had a Cinderella run in this tournament, a ton of pressure to deal with as we move into this next game. Athletico needs to come out and show all the skill that they've shown in the previous games, not quake under pressure, and keep it together.
I think that's the big story for Athletico, just like you're talking about. Can they manage to hold it together whenever the pressure just continues to mount? Can they fight themselves out of these clutch situations that they're going to need to do? Because let's be honest, Na'Vi right now and FaZe are after them. It's got Team Liquid just tailing right behind that as well.
Now it's time to jump into the plane. We're headed back to Erangel, the penultimate game. Are you ready?
Oh yes, here we go. 3 more seconds. Plane path is gonna be a little bit rough for anybody that wants to go back over towards the east, but only 2 games remain. Are we gonna see anything spicy yet, Moses?
Sometimes I want to sound like Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's do this thing north to south. We're headed over Severny, down through Primorsk. Again, a pretty easy plane path. And we got to wonder, will we see a maybe military circle in one of these situations? That would throw a wrench into things for sure. But my eyes are now going to be on FaZe. This is where they always seem to come alive when they're just maybe a couple of points out of that first place position. If they can have a good game here, they could take this whole thing.
Military circle. Second to last game.
Oh,
You are cruel, and I love it.
I'm trying to summon the sadness here.
I mean, at this point, we've been seeing some pretty cruel circles. I wouldn't be surprised if this one actually falls anywhere along the plane path. So many of these players would just be happy at this stage. We keep seeing plane path into a complete opposite circle over and over again inside of this. That's what's led to a lot of these modifications. Look at FaZe Clan going back down towards from Morris. We've got G2 making a push over towards Military Base Island. And really a lot more teams up towards the north end play around it.
I think FaZe might be vying for a vehicle against Na'Vi, potentially on the southern side of the map. They're kind of staring at each other, and I think FaZe is going to get the, oh no, he's going to hit the compound. Maybe no vehicle there available. I don't see anything on the road. I think Pokemaladoy is maybe wondering where his vehicle spawn is as well. I can't see in the trees, but FaZe is going to drop a little bit further away from his team, and he just wants to make sure that you know, he keeps it together. But let's talk a little bit with FaZe.
The drop location, usually we try to get to where we want to loot initially, and sometimes that takes a long time. Maybe you have to drive for like a minute, and that results in you can't be early for the first circle. So you kind of have to strategize between being early for circles you can and playing maybe slightly more edge on some circles where you can't be early. So it's more like deciding how you want to play that specific game, because we don't usually play every game the same.
Their flexibility in the early game, such a big component of FaZe's game plan. HC's going to come up to support, and FaZe going for the Vector. I wonder if he's been taking some notes from James.
Is this starting to be the new meta? More DMRs, more SMGs, and FaZe? I mean, sure, he didn't have a lot of loot to work with there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of counters out of that circle. Extremely friendly in towards plane path, so not going to see too much craziness coming into play, as really only about 5 teams need to make their way a couple 100 meters and make it in the safe zone. So really, it's just going to be fairly quiet at the start.
Talking about SMGs, the upcoming patch is going to make body shots and even limb shots more viable as they basically get a loot or an overall damage buff. So I think some of the pros we've been seeing James, and actually really only James, trying to go for the Vector. I think he's trying to get ahead, as you said, Matt, get ahead of the meta before it becomes a solid thing. And it would be an interesting shift as a game been so centered around the AR usage. And DMRs have always been around and competitive, but teams like Ghost have really clung, for lack of a better term, to the bolt action. It had a bit of a moment there, but I think for Ghost Gaming, we talked about it, how maybe that's costing them some damage and the ability to do or get knocks in rotation, as the bolt action just doesn't have the damage capability or the output of the DMR.
Well, it comes down to a couple of different factors. I think that's why we're starting to see SMGs be a little bit more of a factor and might start being a little bit more meta, is the fact that if you've got great tap control with these DMRs, you can use that at long to mid-range. Then it naturally is the grenade meta, so whenever anybody moves a little bit closer to mid-range, you've got the grenades for that, and now, if you take any fights any closer, you could use an AR, sure, or you could use an SMG just right up inside of somebody's face and just shred them to pieces. So now there's so many different points that are starting to stack into this that's making it a little bit more interesting as far as weapon diversity goes.
Liquid is going to get the benefit of a gifted crate landing right next to them in Pochinki, which will be a big boost for them in the early game, as they're not going to have to move too much. I wonder what their positioning will be, as everyone is already starting to move central, and there's that crate. It's going to be landing closest to Jempty. I'm not sure if he's going to see it just yet, but that would be a massive bonus here in the early game. I believe the first crate of the game, yes indeed, the Groza with all the level 3 gear. That's a high level crate. See if anyone can grab that nice and early. But C9 already moving south. Athletico, the other team we really want to be focusing on, is already kind of scouting as they head south. But Matt, so much density already in the center of the map.
What's kind of interesting about this, Team Liquid tends to leave Pochinki quite early, and now Cloud9 has been kind of sweeping back behind them and just trying to take over territory that used to be theirs. Team Liquid's not in too big of a rush to leave this time because they're right in the middle of the circle. So with this, could we see Cloud9 maybe overextend in? I think that they're still keeping an eye out, trying to see if anybody's moving around there. But I gotta say, Cloud9, this might not work in your favor if you decide to push into Pochinki this time. Worked well, I would say it worked medium well last game, but this game, not so great.
Sometimes it's rare. You never know. But for Liquid, they're in 5th place currently, and it's not like it's too far out of reach for them to get back up into that 1st place position. But it is it's tied at the top, only kill count separating us. 1 point between G2 and FaZe, and then a 10-point gap between Liquid, or excuse me, a small gap between Liquid and FaZe Clan to jump up into that top 3 position. So with this next game, man, I would love to see Liquid just try and play a little bit more careful. Like we've seen Ibiza go down a little bit early in these games. That can't happen here.
I mean, in the little trash talk videos we were doing, I was ribbing Team Liquid a little bit about how the fact that they sometimes end up with one member just in the center of the circle. But you have to give it to Team Liquid. They can somehow manage to turn what is a absolute detrimental position and survive through these miraculous odds just to buy a point here or there. And if we look at how close this leaderboard is, that very quickly stacks up.
It's difficult to understand just how good these players are. Like we all play this game, we all spend time. Even if you're a high-level player, the top of this lobby is absolutely incredibly difficult. Any little mistake will cost you a potential team wipe. So for Liquid to be able to come from behind or salvage games where they lose a player or two early and still be able to get into the top 5 position, it really speaks to just how good this team is. Athletico coming straight through the gut here, Matt.
That's very dangerous for them. They're making a pass right next to Red Canids, and it doesn't look like anybody's taking any shots towards them, but this is also putting them next to Cloud9, Team Liquid, Tempo Storm, and a moving Rumblers. Meanwhile, FaZe Clan opting to play along the west coast. In no rush to go to center at all. Wouldn't be surprised if we see them push up around Georgia Pool and maybe try to push towards the northern part of the circle. That's almost de facto FaZe Clan at this point.
FaZe is just going to play this maybe a little bit slower in the early game. They don't really have an option to go dead center just yet, and they're going to recognize that. Come up north, maybe come in on the middle of the zone, just kind of chill for a bit as the circle does shrink. Pittsburgh Knights also coming on the northern side. SSG is going to make it across as well. Ghost, everyone is going to be on the southern side, Matt, so this is dictating on the second circle now.
I think that's going to be the key factor in this. With as centered as everyone is, if we do see a hard shift, it's going to make it very difficult for teams that have been playing along the edge and trying to figure out how to rotate through this, especially playing this territory. This is what, like, the center of Erangel. This is what everybody knows best.
It's a bit of a lull in the action here as Team Liquid just poking out, seeing if they can get some damage onto Bitloft. Looking at Uba, the damage he's been doing, incredible. 5,400 plus damage, the highest on his team, and maybe even tops in the entire tournament. Haven't had an update there in a bit, but Uba's damage being done with the DMR has been an absolute constant factor as he's just pressured teams into using their meds, depleting their armor, and that softens them up for team fights, but FaZe has been so good executing and winning.
One thing I want to keep an eye on the map just a second ago, we saw Team Liquid is running a 2-2 split outside of Pochinki. And with as many teams that are playing around their locations, I don't think that we'll see too many people pushing those locations, but they're two very popular spots for teams to try to make a push towards. So if we suddenly see a very quick rotation from one of these teams, it could be detrimental for Team Liquid.
The vision you get from the Pochinki hill that Team Liquid is using on the southern side is going to really allow them to defend as well, because the MT can see towards where Ibiza and Samty are. So the vision that they can provide each other, the info they can kind of share, is going to make it so that if someone does get crashed, they can support from distance. And that is the strength of this 2-2 split. The MT is kind of shading back towards his compatriots in the compound. But we're going to find G2 getting some pressure from Incognito as breaks go will kind of pass by, but the first shot's kind of landing there.
I mean, there's not a lot going on with those shots going out. That's going to let Hell Yeah Brother know that somebody's over there next to him. New circle does pop, and you can see FaZe Clan's over towards the west as well as Spacestation Gaming. Not a lot of teams having to move, so again, a very calm second game, and that's no surprise. Everybody right now knows every point is extremely valuable, so whenever you get a centralized circle like this, it's just trying to play it as slow as humanly possible. You do not want to make one of those mistakes against these teams.
Well, when you have a circle almost do a consistent shift like we've seen, people stay alive longer, teams stay up longer, and that means there's less and less space to move, which means these rotations can receive pressure. So we've already seen H-Win taking some shots. Athletico actually going to be spotted by Ghost as well. This could be huge. Luke will go down first, and that's going to be 2 quick downs for Athletico, and the quick flushes from Ghost. Flood is in the vehicle still. They cannot help their team.
A couple of third-party shots coming in from Cloud9 on the other side of that, but Athletico now knows they're in trouble, just on full-on retreat right now. And they're back towards the northern part of the circle, moving back over towards Rajak. That's going to make it very rough for them. Remember, these guys are tied at the top of the leaderboard. Losing 2 this early is very scary.
So much pressure, and Luke has been the star for that team, and to lose him as well. I believe that was Extreme that went down. I can't see the nameplates just there, but here comes some more shots. Incognito, they're going to put some more Australian hurt on their brethren as Chung is going to be forced off the rock. Insight, Charlie fighting back, Matt.
But look at the positioning coming out from Incognito. They've got 3 on 1 spot, all taking shots over towards Hell Yeah Brother. Insight's playing on the other side of this. So now he's kind of in the weak, dangerous location. Team Liquid looks like they've managed to regroup back around Pochinki, taking a couple of shots back over towards Red Canids.
In rotation, trying to find a way on the northern side of Pochinki. C9 using their 2-2 split to pressure. This is a strong position for K-Mind. He plays here so often. Team Liquid has joined forces there on the church. They're looking around. K-Mind, man, this is the first time I've seen him not being active with his vision. Maybe speaks to the mentality of Cloud9, who are almost, I cannot believe Cloud9 is second to last in this tournament right now. Definitely not what we expected from them coming off such a strong performance in
Athletico. Athletico is pushing right through Ghost and Singularity. That's some trouble. You can see Zoid's lost about half of his health. Flood does manage to make it back over towards safety, but that's going to be Ghost right over there. These guys are taking a couple pot shots at them a second ago. Now, I wouldn't be surprised. Ghost probably not going to make the push. Nobody really wants to use any utility at this stage. But here's the thing. Ghost is in an interesting spot. They might just try to start hunting down these kills. Surely they saw how this came through and could have an idea that there's only 2 members just across the street from them. One knock can just tear everything apart for Athletico right now.
Well, they know that they've got 2 off Athletico, so maybe if they get that knock, they're going to know there's only 1 left standing. They could push across. However, Drassel is down and out for Ghost. So that might hinder them a little bit. Here comes a nade up and over. That could be huge. It's going to bounce close, take down N1 all the way down to just under half health. More nades come up and over. They're going to start blowing up those vehicles. This is precarious position. Liquid's on the other side. And Red Canids, they've got nowhere to go. The nades continue to land. They're jumping around. Ghost is trying, C9 is trying to pressure them from the low side.
A nice shot from Nerf. Managed to down one of the Team Liquid players. So that's going to buy them a little bit more space. Grenades are sure bouncing downhill, but they just don't have the range for it. Meanwhile, the Incognito, Hell Yeah Brother fight still continues. This is very back and forth towards the center of the circle. So these guys are just jockeying for the top position on this hilltop as Incognito is very separated out right now. That's kind of the risk of whenever you run these run and gun positions up these hillsides, as we just saw in the last round.
Waikiki looking around. We have seen another circle shift. We're headed back towards Pochinki, the center on Team Liquid. This is the bonus they needed, but meanwhile, Waikiki just scanning, looking for any other information he can find. These two OSDE teams, Matt, have just been doing so much damage to each other.
Incognito has the inside position towards the circle, so that's put all pressure over towards Hell Yeah Brother. Meanwhile, G2, you can see Udyr just taking a couple of pot shots, actually going to get the flush on Ronin. So, going to make it a little bit harder for the Incognito guys, but it's just been repeat down, back and forth coming between them. It feels like the fight that will never end over there.
It's got to end sometime. They've got to come into the zone. Liquid moving into their stronger position. They're back in Pochinki. They've had to move about 15 feet this entire game, just kind of rotating back and forth along the southern side.
To be fair, they are moving quite a bit for how little they actually truly had to move. Canids taking a couple of shots back over towards Cloud9, finally getting a little bit of separation out as Cloud9's going to firmly regroup back over next to Pochinki. And it feels like really it's just up towards the northeast where a lot of this fight's happening at. You can see Singularity is trying to get a little bit of separation out away from the Knights. Neither one of these teams in the safe zone as of yet, and naturally, you can see off to the south, that's going to be where Incognito and Hell Yeah Brother are still continuing to, I don't know, slap fight at this point, it feels like.
I wonder if Athletico is going to try and make a move here. They're in the zone. They don't have to move very often, but here we go again. Hell Yeah Brother and Incognito getting after it. They still have not been able to get past each other. Incognito seems to just want to hold Hell Yeah Brother outside of the zone, and that's the play. I mean, they do have, I guess, the closest travel to the zone, and the shots come out. Red Canids have come up into C9, probably going to get one down. Back into this northern garage building, super strong position. Rasmu goes down, and the quick flush, and it looks like C9 is going to get the upper hand. This might be a full team wipe for them.
It looks like N1FBS is just trying to retreat back down behind this, but that's going to be Ghost. So he's just going to have to cower back down behind this rock. He is the last remaining member for his team, and look, Cloud9 seems to be aware. Profi always tempted to go after that next little push. Got the grenade ready, going to throw it down, maybe kind of connect, but that's a long time.
Pretty close. Yeah. Well, it was close, but it's difficult to...
But Ghost?
Yeah, Ghost wants to come up and get this kill. They've seen what's happened, and now there's an AUM on the field, and it's going to FaZe. That will be a massive factor. You always have to worry when FaZe Clan has an AUM in in their hands.
I just love Shrimzy's glance back down. Where did that grenade go as it bounced right over next to his shoulder? Singularity in a little bit of trouble as they bump into Hell Yeah Brother. This is just a continuing rotation back and forth as so many of these teams just cannot find any free zone. Singularity was just trying to push back down away from this, and they also bumped into G2 just a little bit further down towards the south. So it feels like Singularity just in a world of hurt as just team upon team.
Oh, he barely made it over. He's going to dive out of the vehicle just before it goes up in flames. And Hell Yeah Brother, they're making a long trek, Matt. They've been in the zone for a long time, it feels like.
Well, they're still not even close to the safe zone. They still have to move a couple hundred meters. Vasily taking a couple of shots back over towards Singularity now as it's just duck and cover continuing. Hell Yeah Brother has been in unrelenting fights this whole time just trying to survive, and Pome takes down Crush. This is just turning worse and worse for Hell Yeah Brother. They just cannot get a reprieve. They cannot catch their breath.
I feel so bad for Hell Yeah Brother. They've just been like Incognito bullying them on one side. They go south. Now it's Singularity basically waiting in the blue for them to move. G2, they're going to take the priority. They're going to go straight for a compound. It's going to be a mad dash. They're going to leave the Rumblers in their dust. And Incognito's moving the same way. I wonder if this is going to be another fight with G2. They don't have the man advantage just yet. Incognito has arrived, and it's only going to be breaks go on the interior.
Fighting, so afraid to push back over towards Pochinki proper. Couple of shots from the outside from Bitloft is just going to open that up for Incognito. Just close the door and be like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'll be fine with what's happening.
And there's the flush. Easy points there for Incognito, and they're going to pick up a couple of points elsewhere as now G2 is going to try and bring in reinforcements.
Like Hikamu Cal just huddled down, aware that's a very dangerous location. You wanted an interesting circle, Moses.
This is interesting.
Talking about a military base. Well, how about a Pochinki finish?
Pochinki Fields, always a bloodbath in these situations, but all of G2, at least the remnants of, they've arrived in the barn buildings, and they're going to try and clear out who they can. It's a bit of a spread here from Incognito. One per building and one on the exterior and Insight. Joining in with the Rumblers, they've come into the zone. They're on the, well, they're almost in the zone, southern side.
I really feel bad for Incognito at this point. I'm kind of curious. I don't think that they've been able to get to a spot to have a team not right next to them through the entirety of this game.
Please, stop shooting me. They're trying their best, but they've been, you know what, they're still in it, kind of. They still have to make their way into the zone. Pame, he's found a new vehicle, but he has not found any reprieve yet as he's going to continue to move, and just like that, finally, Hell Yeah Brother will go down. And Pame, he's getting a lot of damage. He's got to keep driving, and the reload might have saved him as he dodges death. Once again, yes, he does. He gets away.
Well, I mean, he's got away for now, but where do you even go at this stage? Because you can see Na'Vi, Tempo Storm, all pushing back over towards this little bit of a dip. So Tempo Storm over towards one side of it. With that reposition, Rumblers could actually come up back behind Na'Vi. So nice grenade toss could bounce up around this angle. Bestalock just trying to run up the hill. Takes a little bit of damage, but the tree is still going to continue to provide a little bit of cover.
Those nades ever present as they continue to fall and explode all around Tempo Storm. Na'Vi atop the leaderboard. They need to have this go well. Everyone looking their direction. The moving vehicle cover. The nades come out. Rumblers versus Na'Vi. The nade lands close. Aduzi's got to come around, but he's going to get taken down. They're being pinched. It's Tempo Storm on one side, Rumblers on the other.
And Pome just driving in the background just because. Meanwhile, continue grenades go through. This is why SMGs are fine, Moses. Why do you ever need an AR? You just need grenades at this range.
Just chuck a grenade, and when in doubt, now Na'Vi is going to contend with both Tempo Storm, and the prone comes out. Pokemolido goes down, and that's going to be the quick flush. Na'Vi is in a world of hurt.
This is very, very bad for Na'Vi. They need to find some way to get out of this position. They're getting pincered from too many different spots. They are not even inside the safe zone as of yet. Bestalock's taking a lot of damage. He can just not leave this tree. It's Tempo Storm that's firing down from one angle, and even if they do manage to push away from this, there's Rumblers just to the north of them.
Meanwhile, a quick update. Athletico found their way into Pochinki. They are nice and safe, and they are hoping and watching that kill feed as they continue to see Na'Vi taking damage. Bestalock, the zone is moving. He can't go anywhere. The zone's at his back. Maluk will take him down from Tempo Storm, and now the Rumblers are going to step up. They want a piece of the pie as well. Pame's there for some reason, and he's trying to bolt up close.
Yeah, you might as well go for a shot at this point. Maluk's going to get down by Rumblers. Rumblers now essentially protecting the last remaining member from Na'Vi. But no, he's going to get spotted out, and Na'Vi goes down in 14th place.
They absolutely have to be sweating now. Tempo Storm will follow suit in 13th place. Athletico, again, they are dead center. They have the zone. They don't have to move much, and they could potentially steal some kills in the fields of Pochinki. And now it's Liquid and FaZe. They're right next to each other.
We've got Liquid, FaZe, and Athletico all holding down different portions of Pochinki right now. Meanwhile, it's just a firefight on every part of the edge of the circle. Shots back and forth. Zark knows the fact that he doesn't have anywhere he can really go. Had to hit that shot, so buys himself a little bit more space.
Re-peeking after the headshot. Very dangerous. Here comes Baja. He's in danger as well. He's taking it to Profi. Profi says no. Shuts the door on SSG, and that's now an NA versus NA fight here as SSG in the downstate. The nade comes out. Profi wants to put it through the window. It's going to land close and onto the roof, unfortunately, out of harm's way. SSG going for the res.
You take out that satellite dish. SSG should be able to get the res back over towards it. A little bit of a civil war going over there, but we did have one of the members from FaZe get knocked. That should be an easy res as well. We got a little continuing skirmish that's happening between Knights and Ghost on the other side of this. Incognito is just trying to run it in and find somewhere safe to be at this point. Gonna finally meet up with one of their teammates, but everybody's just trying to carve out a little bit of space because we have the Pochinki fields eating up so much territory in the circle and no one wants to go there.
Liquid hasn't picked up any points, I don't think, at this game so far. They're still at 123, and you can see just how close it is. Only 1 point separates Athletico from the lead. And now the shots continue to ring out as we're starting to see more and more pressure in this Pochinki area. And Matt, if this shifts out to the fields, this game will turn itself on its head.
We can't forget about Bitloft. They've managed to carve out a little bit of a space for themselves down there, managed to hold back Rumblers as well as G2 taking a couple of shots back towards them. Incognito still caught up in this, I guess, comfortable skirmish at this point. I mean, I don't think Kamukau's left that shack yet. He's just like, no, I hear footsteps, guys. They're like back behind me. It'll be fine.
Very tentative roommate situation out on the field, and they have to be praying that the circle comes their way. Jeems is on the rooftops with the SLR, as you do in these situations. You know, it's the penultimate game of an international tournament. Might as well jump up onto the roofs and see if you can do anything.
Give it to me, Jeems. This is what I want to see. Confidence galore. This guy knows the fact that he can kill anybody around him, but he has got to be cautious as there's going to be FaZe on the other side of this. Meanwhile, looking back over towards Bitloft, look at that mini-map, Moses. 33 people still alive, and it is just a cluster around Pochinki.
This is absolute insanity, and guess what? Let's throw a crate down into the mix. I imagine no one's going to have... Oh, Space Station, Fuzzface, and Mixie are going to pick up a couple of more kills as the NA team gets wiped, and it's going to go back towards Pochinki. C9 has the best position in the zone, but they're about to have a lot of pressure coming their way.
Bitloft is going to be the team I'm keeping an eye on. How are they going to reposition back through Pochinki? Are they going to be a little bit more aggressive, or are they just going to take over those buildings? G2, Incognito, they've got to figure out some way to make it through. Their Godspeed back down towards the south, all by his lonesome, is just going to be trapped and have to make a very dangerous cross.
This is absolute insanity. It's so close, Matt. Now, Incognito, G2, they've got to move.
Hey, why kick Kamukau? He did move out of being inside that corner. He's at least looking around now.
Technically, he's outside.
he's just being very cautious with it, you know, just trying to see what information he can get. Knight's also in a little bit of a hazardous position just to the north of this. I mean, well, I say that, but really Athletico and Bitloft are the only people that are going to have good angles towards him, and Atletico's already lost too. The problem is G2 can't really disengage from this fight because Waika Kamukau is right next to them, and the zone's moving. Absolutely thorn in their side. If they hop inside of vehicles, yeah, this could be his opportunity if he hits those shots onto it, but I think he's playing this just a little bit too cautious.
G2 is going to flip around. They're going to get found by the AK. The shots ring out. Waika Kamukau will take down Udir, and now Incognito's got to get in their vehicles as well. Look at the damage he's taking, and down he will go. Chris will figure it out, and he will take him down, but this is going to be mutually assured destruction as Chris, the last man standing, has to take it to Insight and Jukesy, but the zone is there. I have got to say, I think G2 is going down here.
I mean, it's just throw down whatever smoke you can to try to make this cross.
Run!
There's so much damage coming through. Incognito really wants to take him down, but cannot find the angle. Finally does manage to get it. That's going to be G2 getting eliminated, and 11th, but Incognito are in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, I think they're either down to the zone, but the Knights have their own issues. They're trying to make their way through Ghost. Meanwhile, Liquid on the interior of Pochinki is getting heated. Pomade still alive, and McCoy will take down Reels, the vehicle explosion, and there goes Jukes, the Incognito, 10th place.
So now one last member for Knights just trying to crawl forward. It's really these guys that are kind of gate kept out right now. Team Liquid holding the angle back over towards Bitloft. Their last remaining member for Rumblers as well as Singularity has to try to figure out where do they find a path through there. Well, I say that. It's going to be Athletico that takes down Godspeed, so there we go. Rumblers are now out. FaZe Clan holding a very decent amount of territory. Look at that four-man split across different buildings, as well as Team Liquid. These guys are just hoarding space.
If this thing goes south and stays on Pochinki, Matt, this might be the slowest moving endgame we've seen so far. Athletico has retaken the lead by just a couple of points. FaZe in position, however, they're 4 up, they're full strength, they're picking up kills. This could be their game.
We have Cloud9 still 4 members up on one angle. Ghost has 3. Still playing outside of Pochinki. Really the only team that's not inside the safe zone yet. We got Pomade just trying to make it to the wall, and he cannot do it. That's going to be a kill that goes over towards FaZe Clan.
EMT wanted that kill. Liquid still has none, and they're in the placement points, but they have no kills. And with Pochinki now coming up north, the circle has shifted center again on Cloud9, the unlikely victors of this circle luck. And now Team Liquid has to move north. Bitloft behind them. Athletico's there to defend, and guess who's there as well? FaZe.
This is going to be very bloody very quickly. It's all about repositioning. I feel like Team Liquid has a couple of places they can play, but they have to be ridiculously cautious. They're going to have to sweep out, get Athletico out of this position. Meanwhile, Bitloft, they just cannot make it through this. They just keep getting dropped from Team Liquid angles. They don't have a clear path. They're going to have to use. I feel like they've already used so much smoke just to get into this position. Meanwhile, Ghost is just, nope, let's just send it. It's time to go.
Into the circle they'll go. They will crash into the blue one-story, but the nades are coming out. This is Liquid and FaZe on the doorstep, and Bitloft in behind. Athletico still safe. Cloud9 waiting with only K-Mind.
This is just players stacked all up on top of each other. Bitloft does manage to get a push and takes down and flushes Jimty. That's going to be very, very big. Meanwhile, Cloud9 still holding the angle back towards Ghost. Remaining members just going to go ahead and bleed out back over there. Ballot can't make it through, but Uba is going to be able to throw a grenade. Is this going to connect?
Oh, it's right inside.
It's right inside. The bounce is going to go through. Oh, Abisa just narrowly lived.
It looks like James is down somewhere else. I didn't see where he was, but Bitloft is going to get naded out by Fuzzface. More kills going their way. Liquid may be in trouble here. James is in rough position, and now Athletico is going to steal a kill. They're picking up more and more points, and James will get finished out. Still no kills for Team Liquid. They've got to be feeling the pressure. They're in the zone, but Fuzzface and the FaZe Clan continue to come up from the south.
FaZe Clan has managed to regroup, and that is just a death squad that's looking for anything that moves. Meanwhile, Cloud9 has a very strong building that they can play from, get a lot of vision back over towards it. Really, it's going to be these dividing roads. That's going to be the no man's land that people are going to try to smoke and move through. But really, it's Ghost that's holding a lot of Cloud9's attention, as it's just kind of North America versus North America and EU versus EU with a little bit of Athletico.
A little bit of spice of OCE in there, and more kills continue to pile up for FaZe Clan. The wipe and another shot onto Sam T, and this could be very precarious position once again. Mixie's gonna have to vault out. Harold's nearly in the blue. Mixie's waiting for him to exit. He wants one more kill, and they want one more placement point. Sam T's point will go to Nerf.
These shots that are going through these small windows are so ridiculously hard to hit. And I gotta say, it feels like FaZe Clan is just absolutely nailing it right now. Bitloft is just hiding right over here, just like, please make it stop at this point. It is just raining bullets upon his head.
I don't think there's a vault option here. No, he has got to go upstairs and out the balcony or straight out the door. And Mixie and Fuzz are just waiting to see him. But now it's a beat, so the last man, still no kills for Liquid. They haven't had the move map, but they just haven't had any opportunity to get any sort of damage or points.
Well, Cloud9's been pretty comfortable with circles going over their direction, but now it's going to be pushes from Team Liquid and FaZe. FaZe trying to push off to one side. Profi's trying to defend it, but you can see the smoke wall is down. Not a lot of information to work with, but it's going to be a nice grenade to take down 2 of the members from FaZe Clan. Now, how are they going to react? Are they going to continue to push? Are they going to go for the reses? Looks like Abisa.
Look at Profi.
Abisa might be aware of what's going on. Follow through. Grenade's going to hit the other side of the wall. That's not going to be able to get too much for it. But Bitloft's Herald might be in a position to do a little bit of damage as well. FaZe in a lot of trouble right now. Profi gets the spray back over. Can he connect it back over towards AC? Gets another one down, but Profi does go down in exchange as well. Only Fuzzface up and alive.
Abisa will finish off Uba, and there goes FaZe down in 6th place. They're teamed up on. They're wiped out.
Now, Team Liquid, they have managed to carve their way into the safe zone, but it's just EB looking back over towards us. Meanwhile, Athletico's looking back towards Bitloft's remaining member. Ghost just passively chilling out, seeing what's going on. Bitloft does get taken out there. So now, Athletico has managed to survive against all odds. Team Liquid as well. This leaderboard is absolutely nuts right now.
I'm sweating through my shirt, Matt. This is getting very real. This is the last circle. It's coming down to the asterisk, and now Cloud9, they haven't had to move nearly an inch, and they're trying to nade out Ghost Gaming. Meanwhile, Athletico having retaken the lead. All eyes are now on Abisa. He's got to make something happen. Liquid has had such a rough game, even though the circle's been in their favor.
So now it looks like the push is going to come from Athletico back over towards Ghost. Smokes are now coming out, so they're going to have to figure out how they play this. The circle's coming in, so it's very, very hazardous at this point. This blue damage is going to hit like a brick ton, so they have to be very cautious as how they move through this. You can see Ghost already starting to respond. They can hear the footsteps that are around them, very aware of the smokes that's dropping next to him. Going to go ahead and try to grenade that, but it's going to bounce against the fence. Not going to buy much space. And look,
a crate?
Zoid's actually being able to push through this. Nice terrain uses to buy a little bit more space.
Zoid, I think, picked up that level 3 gear. That would be, he did indeed.
Oh,
he's going
my
right
God.
at Ghost. He's going to step up and around, but he's got to be so careful. He's fully boosted, but his health is low. C9 is watching as well. He knows it. He can't go that direction, and I think C9 has the closest spot to the asterisk. That means they're not going to have to move nearly as much. It's Athletico and Ghost.
So now we've got Shrimsy and McCoy holding different angles. Smoke galore right now. Vision is near on impossible. McCoy's opted into playing around the outside. There's great play coming out from Ghost. Gets the spray down onto one of the players.
Team kill!
Atletico manages to survive through that. EB sees it, tries to get a couple of shots, but now he's just trying to use this as a reposition. Zoid hits a couple of shots back over towards EB, but now EB firmly aware of where Atletico is, and he knows this is the team he has got to get down before he dies. Now, we have to see, how is Cloud9 going to play this? They have the numbers, they have the angles, but it seems like they're perfectly content. That grenade bounces in a very interesting angle. That's going to stop Athletico right at the front of this. But Zoid manages to take down Eevee, buys a little bit more space. What do you have, Athletico? Can you fight your way through this and buy a little bit more time?
No, he's going to go down to the zone. K-Mine gets the kill, and that's going to be a Cloud9 finally claims a 10-kill victory. That has got to be a huge relief.
What the hell is going on in this series, Moses? It is going to be neck and neck every stage of the way, and we only have one round left to go. I gotta give it. Athletico, Team Liquid, FaZe Clan, by God, you are not stopping.
They have got to feel so good. Ghost in the clutch, the team kill, the unlucky situation. There's so much confusion. There's so much noise. The smokes are down. And Athletico, they come and they claim another top position. Liquid was there as well. They didn't get a ton of kills. I would say less than 5 almost for certain. But they do pick up some pivotal placement points to keep them in the running. And I know it's going to be extremely tight headed into the last game.
Here's the thing. Cloud9, not having been best placed as far as the leaderboard goes, is going to eat up a lot of points from that round. And so whenever you have these guys back down towards, I guess, the middle, bottom, toward leaderboard, let's be honest, Cloud9's back down towards the bottom, eating a ton of points, that means it's going to make it just that much closer up towards the top of the leaderboards as things just keep getting tighter and tighter up there.
It's bittersweet for Cloud9. They feel disappointed. I know they do. And to have to come down and now have a winner's interview after having such a rough tournament. But this is a talented team. Yes, they had the circle, but they played the advantage when they had it. That is how top teams stay top teams. When you have the advantage, you have to play it. FaZe, however, they had a rough journey through Pochinki, and Cloud9 was the catalyst to them going out as early as they did.
I mean, we saw that was pretty much Cloud9, Team Liquid. This is kind of their home territory. FaZe had to make a very long rotation through, as well as, let's be honest, Hell Yeah Brother and Incognito, those guys were in a lot of trouble throughout those circles, but FaZe Clan managed to carve themselves a path and just continued to fight their way through Pochinki.
FaZe picked up a lot of kills, and now with the live tracker we saw, I think Athletico is still going to be in first, considering where Na'Vi went out. And that's the second part of this, is that Na'Vi now put themselves in a position, everybody in the top 5. It's a must-win game. It all comes down after such a long tournament, all these games being played, one more game.
And the pressure is going to be huge inside that round. To get to this stage and have it be so close, any of these teams in the top 5, if they go out early, it's just going to be emotionally draining for this. Everybody right now is fighting for, yeah, okay, there's the prize pool. I know everybody loves the prize pool, but the regional spots are a key factor. That makes it so much better chances for your region to continue on and have such growth as we move to the next Classic that's going to be happening over the next phases. Meanwhile, Athletico, these guys want this so bad for their region.
So much on the line, an extra place at the global tournament, the prize money and the prestige, but for now we've got Rachel standing by with Cloud9.
Thank you guys so much. So excited to see you guys. Cloud9, you're a dominating team in the NPL, and I know things are different when we come across the pond and we've got to face a bunch of, I'm saying we, I count myself as part of the NA success over here. So what's going on over these past couple days?
I think that we underestimated a lot of the teams here, like from OCE team, and they're actually like doing better than us, so we shouldn't have done that. But we definitely need to play better, and I think we've learned our lesson. And I think at least on the Worlds, I think we'll bring it back.
Well, this is a match where you did play better. I was seeing the normal Cloud9. You were communicating, you were moving about the map in a commanding way. You had a great 2-2 split where you got on either side of Hell Yeah Brother. You're able to take them out. Talk me through some of your successes in this match.
I mean, we took center position for a circle, and to be honest, we didn't have to move much. So I could go ahead and say what rotation we did, but to be honest, we got gifted. We gotta be honest here.
Well, you were able to capitalize on it, though. Profi, tell me a little bit about your successes in this match as far as fragging out and as far as moving with your team.
Well, I knew that we had to kill FaZe, which was they were smoking up, and like I had to make an aggressive push because I know that they're probably not gonna expect for someone to be outside, like getting aggressive on them while they were pushing. So I pretty much died to kill 2 or 3 of them, but at the end I think it was worth it because FaZe is a really strong team. If once they get into your building, they will kill you. So.
Absolutely, a lot of powerhouse teams here. And so I want to know, what are you taking away from this weekend? We are starting to see a stratification in our leaderboard where certain teams can come out on top and certain teams are playing for what? What are you boys playing for?
Right now we're playing to just get better because like we don't have a chance at like a top placements. We're just playing to learn and get better and not repeat the same mistakes at Worlds pretty much.
Well, any statements you guys want to make while you have the audience and the microphone?
I'm good.
I mean, thank you for your support. I'm sorry we're not performing as much as you guys would like to, but we're trying our best.
Absolutely, still a team worth cheering for. Thank you so much, Cloud9, for your insights and your performance this weekend. Back to the desk, take another look at that match.
It was a mature match.
Thank you, Rachel, and congratulations to Cloud9 on securing that cheeky chicken. Guys, for me, I want to talk about Athletico because that was such a crucial game for them. They actually lost 2 players very early on, and I think they adapted the right way. They became a bit more passive. They sat back and then started to work their way into the game positionally until at the end they could capitalize. I think within the last 5 minutes or so, they'd worked their way up to 5 kills. Toffees, do you agree or disagree?
I don't want to fully disagree. I think that there was maybe, it looked like it was passive play, but for me, it was very active. It was intellectual play. They lost the guys on the split. They were north of Ghost where they lost their 2 partners. And what they were in a good spot for that circle, but they weren't mid-circle. So normally Ghost was expecting these guys to make their next rotation as the blue marks off and the next phase happens. They rotated a minute before the phase changed. They blew past Ghost in the open, but Ghost wasn't ready to stop them because they weren't expecting it. They crashed into Pochinki. They got a good hiding place. They were making the moves early, and they were thinking ahead of their opponents. And that's why they looked like they were passive, because they just got there first and tucked in.
Ross? Not only that, but they also positioned themselves on the northeast side of Pochinki, which is one of the best sides, because from there you can work your way through towards the field. You can see people. If someone's trying to come in from the field, you can shoot them down before they can reach you. And it's not a hotspot itself, not like the flat top that we saw C9 on. That's where you're going to see people crash on. So, as Toffee said, an intellectual choice there to play from there.
Thank you, guys. Let's jump into things in a bit more detail now with Toby downstairs for our breakdown.
Thank you so much, Paula. What a crazy way to finish the second to last game. And I want to take you guys into a moment of the game that I believe a lot of people were sitting up in those booths praying to the lords of PUBG that they were going to get some circle luck their way. We're sitting here. This is circle 2, moments before the 3rd circle pops. And I'm going to go straight into it. Look at this moment right here. I've drawn up in red for you on your screens. These are fields, open fields that sure you can drive your way through them, but you do not want to find yourself in any of these areas. And if you think about it, you don't want to be in Pochinki either. So this is a whole lot of this field and this circle that is arguably unplayable terrain. Teams know this. There's not a lot they can do. G2, they're already pushing their way up forward, and a foot race commences. 2 teams trying to make their way, and it becomes Incognito and G2 at the same time. They realize double bonds open and available. We need to get it, and we need to get it now, because we are not going into that city. That's where you get suicidal. So they send it up. It becomes a cluster of a fight. G2 ends up winning it in the end of things. And if we take a look at the clip here, just really quickly with our amazing eye tracker, look at what we have on our screens with the clip. if we get it up, I guess. Nope. In any case, it's a hard place to play from. It's really, really difficult to hold that spot. You cannot just sit tight, even though you have hard cover. You need to constantly run around, make sure that you have the vision that you need, and make sure that nobody else is coming for you after, because you don't want to go into that city. We'll take a look at the other clip if possible and see exactly what's waiting for you in that city. Just pause it here for a second. You guys can, for yourself out there, if you're here in the arena itself, start counting. We're in phase 4 at this point. There's still 4 more teams left to crash that city. How many buildings do you see open and available for teams to crash? I would not want to be anywhere near there. But fortunately, when it going the way of Cloud9, they should be happy with that. That's it from me, Paula. Back to you.
Amazing breakdown, Toby. And Pochinki, such a difficult area to navigate if you've got a bunch of teams around there. If you're forced to, thanks to the circle. What is best practice, Toffees?
I mean, the idea is you never want to fight out of a city, right? Because if once the circle leaves the city, they're designed to not have a lot of cover options. So if you're stuck in town and the circle leaves it, you get massacred. But in those rare situations where we get these city finishes, it comes down to who knows it best, who plays effectively, which is why I was surprised that Cloud9, or Liquid, I'm sorry, finished that with only 2 kills, but they did manage to get themselves to 3rd. I mean, that circle finished where they start, and who is better equipped to play it than Liquid and Cloud9?
I mean, we also saw Liquid. They had teams on the rooftop playing from up there. Now, Cloud9, they took one of the strongest positions to actually play from. That flat top itself is so strong. And we also saw a similar ending in PL, actually. And I feel like the teams from PL, Liquid, FaZe, they had a little bit of an advantage. They know exactly how to play it last time. But Profi, with that push he did, that flank, no one was expecting it. But it's a typical Profi move.
I love to see that the teams that are out of contention now, even out of the top 8 to be in the money, are still throwing down as hard as they can, Toffees, as we get the scoreboard up.
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, this is the beauty of PUBG, right? The fact is, even though Cloud9 is not doing great and they're in the bottom of the boards, they get a chance to go up there and represent their fans, represent their brand, represent their name in every single game. They get a chance, no matter what's happening in the overall, to get the chicken dinner, to have their moment in the spotlight, and they capitalized on that. Sure, they haven't been allowed to drop Pochinki in this tournament. They kind of ran away from Liquid there, but they show us that maybe they still can play Pochinki, and they do so. They held that garage house for much of the game, and they've dealt out a ton of punishment and control from that area.
Exactly. Cloud9, they're getting the 1st place, but Athletico in 2nd means that they hold on to place number 1, and they score themselves 150 points. FaZe Clan are in 2nd behind them, increasing their position. And yeah, it's a story of the top 5. At this point, if you're Liquid, you need a 20-point game and Athletico to bomb and the other teams ahead of you to have a rough time. It's going to be so tough going into this final match, guys.
And don't forget that the tiebreaker will be the kills itself. Right now, FaZe Clan, they have more kills than Athletico, and this might mean that they might take it all home.
Speaking of kills, looking at the kill leaders, Athletico is now 1 and 2 on that board. Luke at 29. Zoid made after an amazing trade out with Ghost. Remember, they only got that 2nd place because Ghost sort of had them at those cars coming off the box, but he was able to turn, exchange fire, and take them down, and that puts him up to 28. But that is a stacked kill lead grouping, and what you want to do if you're Athletico right now is not leave the door open for FaZe. You want to make sure you get as many points as you can so that kills don't come down to the tiebreak.
Indeed. Guys, at this point in the tournament, we're at the very end. We've got 1 more match to go. Which teams do you think thrive the best under this pressure?
I mean, I would long have said FaZe, right? This is FaZe's. This is what FaZe does. They rise up when they're catching up, and they strike down the people in front of them. That said, Athletico has surprised me again and again, and I know you, Froz, promised them you would do a shoey after this tournament if they won. So I think that they've got a little extra motivation to take it down.
Well, remember when Athletico said that they were looking up towards the other teams, they were the big boys. Now, Athletico, they are leading the run. They are the big boys themselves.
Indeed. Well, I'd love to see Patrick doing a shoey, but only time will tell if Athletico can stay on top of the leaderboard by the end of our final match. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back for it after this break.